even that month and a half, some things she said wasn't quite true about me.
Did you ever get your Dodge going? I seen it sit down there in the city.
Oh yeah.
Truck down there up on a jack in the back.
Wow, that was quick. That was must have been the one day you saw it. Since that month and a half, right? The things she says about me are even
screw holes in the pedals.
So she didn't understand me in the beginning, and now she really don't understand. This is a nice room. And now she really does.
I saw on the outside, and I saw her on the inside. The outside didn't fool me. It's crazy to begin with. And you know why I knew she was crazy?
She even told me. She even told me.
She's got to be crazy to go through.
Steering wheel and an engine.
She even told me she was a little crazy.
She's nuts. She's nuts.
And she said she was schizophrenic or something like that too.
Nuts.
And I says, everybody's crazy. I says, that's the first step, is to admit it. You know? Because then you can go and do something.
Unless you admit when you're not crazy, then you're really crazy. You know what I mean? I mean, schizophrenic is a lot different.
Come on, don't want to get your beard. Don't do that shit. Yes! You gotta get around. She just woke up. I'm gone.
McAteer High School was built in 1973 in the ravine of a wooded stream area which feeds into the San Francisco Bay between Hunters Point and Potrero Hill. According to local photographs and local stories, the valley was one where the Indians came quite often to hunt for deer, because it was one of the few wooded areas where the deer would come down to drink. And there is some story that it has some maybe religious significance to the Indians in the area, although I'm not sure. The main campus was built, as I said, in '73. The theater building, which we're now standing in, was built in 1979. I came to work here in 1981 as a artist in residence for the School of the Arts, which shares a campus with McAteer High School. The area that I work in is the scene shop and in the theater. And one day, it was a Sunday afternoon, about 1985. I was working in the scene shop by myself. At about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the students who were working with me had gone home. I was finishing up a small project, and I was standing in the scene shop with my back to the blue doors, which you can see here, which share the passageway between the scene shop and the music room on the far side. The scene shop and the music room on the far side have separate alarm systems. So if something was moving in the other room, it would not necessarily show in the alarm system on this side. So they're independent. We've had break-ins on the weekends of people coming in and trying to get into the building or vandalizing the building, so we're fairly cautious about that. On this particular Sunday, I was in the scene shop, and I was working. Well, let me show you where I was working. I was standing right about here when I was working, working on a table. And suddenly I heard the door shake, and the doorknob moved. Now, this doorknob that you see here is not the one that was originally there. And I was working on it here in the shop. I don't remember what I was doing, hammering, painting, or sawing. This is the door that moved, right here. And the doorknob moved. doorknob that you see here is not the one that was originally there. We had regular turn-type doorknobs on the other doors, and there were paint stains on the doorknobs because we do a lot of painting in here. And I could see the paint stains actually move, so I know that the doorknob actually did move. Now, when I saw the door move, I thought maybe that someone was in the other side, and I immediately went to the lobby, called the alarm company because they would have a record of whether the motion detector alarm system, which is on the other side, had been disturbed by someone moving in the room. And they said that there was no record of any movement on that side. And this concerned me a little bit, so I went around to the other side of the building to see if there was any forced entry. Sometimes someone will try to move or shake the door, and it'll set the alarms off. Sometimes it won't. I heard the door start to shake, and then I called them again, and they said there had been no record around it. And I looked at the doorknob, and I actually saw the door shake. I figured at that point that I better go ahead and set the alarms off, or whatever I was going to do. I opened the door, and there was no into the lock, and it's just a single turn. I went back to work. I was standing right about here, and I heard the door start to shake. At this point, I turned around, and I looked at the doorknob, and I actually saw the door shake and saw the knob move again. They would not have had time to get out of the room. I took my key, even if they had, I very quickly slipped it in the lock. It's just a single turn for the lock. It's that kind of lock. At this point in time, I was pretty affected by that. And if there was anyone on the other side of the room, even if they had heard me try to have the key and we'd right out the door, about 50 feet long. It's a large music, good stiff brandy. And well, it was Sunday afternoon. I usually don't drink on Sunday afternoon.
In the creaky rocking chair. And so Aunt Ellie brought her creaky sound down with her and creaked in the thing. And then the next spirit, there's no sound like that. Or when I was a little girl, my favorite pony died. And my grandmother came for Christmas and conjured up things. And I said, I want to talk to Peanuts. And the table started trotting around in circles. That was the same night as when I found out about boom, the guy who was flips over upstairs. Before he came, he said, "Oh, let's get the revolution," because we lived on the green. Walking down, right there across the on the green where 8 minutes into the killed in the first, past my war and stuff like bedroom and into the bathroom, and then turning around and walking back. The second one, back and forth movement on the table. Do you want something from Lynn? Somebody from? Do you want something from Lynn? And Tim's like, yes, I do. Boom, boom, and flips over of Jesus and Mary that I had oh, take this down from the attic and put it in my bathroom, just kind of in the Christmas spirit. And when I put it back up in the attic, it stopped.
Okay, I grew up in a house built by my father's grandfather. And I kind of grew up in this extended family where it was my parents, my father's mother, and my father's uncle, and we all lived together. And my grandma and my uncle had the top floor, and it was like a two-flat. We had the bottom floor. And my grandma died when I was a little kid. And it was always kind of creepy to go upstairs after she died, after she had lived there, and we played with her and stuff. And then weird things started to happen where dishes would rattle in the cabinets, things would fall off of shelves when nobody was in the room. You'd hear boom, you'd go in the room and something would have fallen off the shelf, and doors would blow open for no reason, things like this. And my mother became convinced that it was my grandma and that she was still around and haunting the house, living in it. And she developed this communication with it. She would talk to it and called it Emma, which was my grandma's first name, and had eventually such a rapport with this thing in our house that she would sit and have arguments with my father over dinner, where he'd say, and she'd say, if Emma was alive, Emma would side with me, and then the kitchen light would go off and go on again. And sometimes she'd be talking to us and she'd go, Emma, what do you think? And the light would flash, or something would rattle, and she would just, nobody would be home, and she would clean house and talk to this thing, and totally thought it was my grandmother and called it Emma, and the thing responded to her. And I had friends in 5th, 6th grade that would come to my house and could tell that it was around, a door would blow open and the temperature in the room would be colder. And my one friend Susan was completely spooked by the thing. She refused to go in a room that she felt that it was in. and just kind of generally thought my house was creepy and didn't want to play there.
Everything that I'm doing. It was a little scary. Anyway.
Good night, Vinny.
You like
It's coming
it?
down. It's like